Hey everybody, Darren Holly with Exquisite Exotics here. Another video this week, getting Holly to laugh at the beginning as always. So today's video is going to be kind of short. It's going to be a quick little Q&A. We asked for questions a couple weeks ago. Didn't get a ton of them, so we took the questions we did get though. We're going to answer those. And we're going to add a couple more that we get asked really frequently, just to kind of give some extra to the video. So I was just going to hop right in unless you got something else here at the beginning. Alright, so there was a question that was put on the video, and then I went back to the video to look for it, and it was deleted. So I don't know if the person got the answer for it or not, but I'm still going to answer it. I don't remember who it was at the time who asked it, but the question was that they only breed rats for themselves. They don't breed any mice, and they're just starting to breed ball pythons, and they're wondering if rats will be small enough for their hatchlings. So let me preface this with, we don't breed our own rats. We buy our rats. And we use mouse hoppers for most of our hatchlings. But what I will say is we've had some really, really small hatchlings over the last couple years that have needed like mouse hopper or mouse pinkies and really small mouse pinkies. And I'm not familiar with how big a rat pinky is because we don't use rat pinkies, but I imagine they've got to be bigger than a mouse pinky. So my concern would be, like, we've had to use some really small pinkies on really small hatchlings, and when you have one of those hatched out, I would be concerned that a rat pinky would be too big for it.
Especially if you have to assist feed.
Yes.
You know, from the very beginning.
Yeah, true. And I don't... So on a regular basis, I would think that a small rat pink might be okay. I will say that we did try rat pinks, I think, very, very early when we started this. And there's not enough motion, or not enough. The motion of a mouse hopper seems to get a ball python to want to eat a little better for us than the stillness of a pink just sitting there. So that extra bit of movement, I think, makes a difference for a feeding response. Just
our
experience, opinion. Your mileage may vary. Seek other people's opinions. Just giving you my thoughts on it. So I do think there is some value in having a mouse hopper to start rather than like a small rat. Just opinion based. And I will also add, we have never had issues, we'll not go with my head, converting from mice to rats. Mm-hmm. We do not have any mousers in our collection. So if that's a concern for you, don't do that. But we've never had that issue. So I think that answers that question.
I think so.
Yeah. The next question was from...
Came from Grace.
Yes,
How
Grace.
we name our reptile, or our snake specifically.
Yeah. That's a good question.
It's a very, there's a plethora of reasons why we name them what we name them. Some of them, years ago when we first started, we were just kind of naming them cool things, either based on what they look like or things we liked. At least I feel. Yeah. So and then we really got into certain themes for certain projects / morphs. Yeah. Does that make sense?
I'll give some examples as you go through.
Okay.
So like naming based on what they looked like when we started. So we have one named Inferno. It's because he was bright orange.
Yeah.
We have one named Trinity. It's because she was the first 3 codon snake we got.
Yeah.
We have a Honeycrisp because she was a pied, and we tried to think of types of pie. And got to Honeycrisp, which is just
apple pie, Honeycrisp apples. It just we actually didn't we name another one like that, or was she the only one? And then we were like, that was too hard. Start naming pies, like what different pie.
Yes, we did. I forget what the other one was.
Yeah, I feel like we only did that twice.
So yeah, at the beginning we definitely
we're basing it on looks more than anything. We have one named Sahara. I was like, oh, she's like yellow and brown, kind of reminds me of the desert. Let's name her that. Yeah. So it was kind of like looks based.
Plays on words.
Yeah.
We have an Ultramel ghost, but because of Ultramel, we thought ultraviolet, so we went violet with her name. So it was all over the place to start, and then we did start narrowing down some themes.
Mm-hmm. So like our Ultramel project was supposed to be a little bit bigger than it has been. If you've watched our videos, we didn't get too many Ultramels based on some of the ones that just weren't breeding for us. And we decided to use the Knights of the Round Table kind of medieval, like Gray, you mentioned medieval names. So a lot of them have Excalibur,
Guinevere,
Galahad, those kind of
more
names.
gaze.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we keep those kind of names going with that.
For Desert Ghost stuff, we started all over the place, but now we've kind of narrowed it down to Star Wars stuff. And that was another point, is it is all stuff that we like. The names that are actual names from things is all stuff we love. So there's a whole bunch of Star Wars stuff. There's a whole bunch
of Avatar: The Last Airbender stuff, because that show is great.
Yeah.
So
yep.
We have a ton of names from that. What else?
Disney names we use actually. So when we started, we didn't have like a real theme going on. So we have some like Disney names in the ball python stuff, but not really anymore.
We actually converted that over to the breeder crested geckos. Actually, all of our breeder adults will have a Disney.
Not
princess or
not quite.
Well, that's again same thing over there. When we first started, we went on looks based.
Yeah.
We have a Dot who's a Dalmatian, and we have a Skeleton who was a red hatchling. So it was like that. We based it on looks. I don't think we thought we'd get this big so fast. So it just kind of.
We were just looking for names at the beginning. We didn't really have a theme, but we have switched to like a Disney theme for the crested geckos. So.
Yeah, so everybody over there has either it started out being Disney princesses and princes, and then we got too big, and now we don't have any more. We ran out of those, so we had to do just Disney names in general.
There's comic book names. For example, like we have Vixen over here. We have an Ivy for Poison Ivy. We have a Zatanna.
Oh, yeah, we have Quinn from Harley Quinn. Yeah. I don't really think
Selena
mostly
for
Batman.
Selena Kyle for Catwoman. Like
Batman.
So, but we do have kind of a plethora of all kinds of stuff we like, random names. We've even done personality stuff, because I'm looking around the room at names as we do this.
Oh my goodness.
We have Dora, because when we got her, she would constantly come out of the tub exploring.
As soon as you open the tub,
Dora the Explorer.
I don't know if you watch Futurama, but we have one named Zoidberg, and the whole they're total Zoidberg. This one, he's just so derpy. Like, he just was derpy. So he just kind of acted funny. Yeah. I know people like to think well, how could you like a reptile? They have no personality. They have personality.
We have TV show ones, or other movie ones, like live action movies, like Superbad names.
Superbad, some names,
so,
yeah.
It's all over the place.
I'm trying to think if there's any specific theme. They're smaller groups, a smaller amount in these themes, and I don't know. It's nice.
We have been trying to narrow down themes for some stuff, like the Ultramels and the Desert Ghosts kind of have the path we're going with them now, but until we run out of names in those themes. Now listen, Star Wars will never run out of names, but Knights of the Round Table and that kind of stuff, we may eventually run out of some names, but we'll see how deep we can go.
Oh, we did. One other one was with the Mystic and the Mystic Potion. We tried to keep more of a wizard theme.
We got Merlin and Zatanna.
Yep. Well, Zatanna, even though it was a comic book character, was more she was a magical, so
comic book character.
Yeah, and then Mim, was a witch.
Yes.
In a Disney movie.
From Merlin.
Well,
from the Sword and Stone Disney movie. Cartoon.
Yeah. It's a convoluted layer. It's an onion of all of our themes in one, technically.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
So
anyway, that's where our names come from.
Yeah.
That's why for that. Question next.
Nope. We constantly get asked the total number of animals when people realize either seeing our Freedom Breeders or just in general, people constantly are like, oh my gosh, well, how many do you have? And I think when we calculated it, because we don't really keep count like that, because there's constantly some for sale, we're shipping each week, things like that. And then however many eggs we might have at a current time. I think we figured it out that we have 130 geckos currently, ish, and 140 ball pythons.
Ish.
Exactly. That's approximate. And of course, we still have one blood python, one GTP, 3 frogs, 1 leopard gecko. So that will always, not always stay the same, but that is... those aren't currently breeding, so that doesn't change.
Yeah. So then, like Holly said, that number changes when stuff hatches, when we sell stuff, that number's constantly in flux. So
exactly. We just did shipping this week, but we also had some geckos hatch. So it was
yes,
it's constantly changing.
So 140-ish ball pythons, 130-ish geckos at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that one. So I've gotten asked this before from other people who are starting breeding and they're like looking at a female who is a little bit older, maybe 5 or 6 years, and they're like, oh, should I be concerned about her, age and stop breeding? And my answer has always been so far, again, just based on the experience we've had, is no, she'll be fine. We have a 14-year-old female, so that's the oldest ball python in our collection. She's 14 years old, and she gives us a clutch every single year. Every year. So,
we think we're going to give her a year off, but then she shows signs that she wants to go, so we put a male in.
And she puts on, and every year she gets a little bigger. She gets a little more weight on her every year, because that's really our big indicator is year over year, what's their weight look like. If their weight is down from the previous year, we won't breed them. If their weight has went up from the previous year, same time, we'll put them in, see if they want to breed. Kind of watch for building signs, and if so, we'll breed them. So every year she's a little bit bigger than the year before. Every year she starts follicle building, and we breed her, and she's given us a clutch every single year. She was born in 2008? 2008. And she is still giving us clutches. So, is the girl, that's 5 or 6 years old, too old to, which is a question I've got, to pick up as a first breeder for you? No, I don't think so. I think they'll be if they were a good breeder before for the previous breeder, they're probably going to still be.
Now that being said, I will say that you always run the risk if somebody says, she's, proven breeder, but she's, in my opinion, young. 5 or 6 is fairly young. They've it's only been a few years since they've started breeding. And if they say proven breeder, but getting rid of them, I guess ask why. If they say well, I no longer need her for my project or, whatever, but just be mindful that, we're telling you that that's not a thing, and then she might not breed for you right away. Don't get discouraged, always ask why they're giving up the animal, in my opinion. At least I would.
Yeah, that is something you need to be careful of. Some people are kind of unscrupulous and will...
I'm sure there's people that'll say oh no, she's a proven breeder, and then they've never bred her ever, I'm sure. But it's more or less why are you selling a proven breeder so early? Oh, I found this other one that's even better for what I'm working on, so I don't need her anymore. Great, you know what, I'll take her and I'll use her for me, and then you'll be the one selling and saying that I found something that I think will work better for my project. So it's just always asking why. It's my opinion.
It's a good point.
Is that it?
I think so.
Oldest one? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, what else are we going to breed? I've had a lot of people say, what do you breed now? Do you plan on branching out? What else are you going to breed? Really, this is our focus at the moment, is the crested geckos and the ball pythons. I mean, you can touch a little bit more on the GTPs, I think, just because you had a complete idea. Daryl's the idea guy. You had a complete idea. Blood python-wise, we're not going to probably get too many. We're going to probably get one female for our male that we have and breed one pairing. And I think enough eggs that get produced per clutch is good enough. But that's also down the line, so...
Yeah, so, the one blood, I think, at some point, just so we have a breeding pair of blood pythons. GTPs. There is there's a big financial investment to get started in GTPs, especially when you don't know what the babies are, whether they're female or male, so you have to buy a whole bunch to hope. You could start with all wild caughts and save yourself a whole bunch of money, but our collection is big enough now that I am not comfortable buying stuff that's not U.S. captive bred to add into our collection for... we don't have enough space to do a quarantine area that is so far away from the rest of the collection that I'd feel comfortable doing a whole big batch of wild caughts. Also, you have higher mortality rates, harder to get started, all that stuff. Then you have to go through testing. GTPs are kind of known for carrying nido. That can wipe out a whole collection. Not something I want to deal with either. So... yes, I would love to breed GTPs, and we absolutely adore the one we have. When will that happen? Will that happen? I don't exactly know. Even if we bought a female this year that was a hatchling and lucked out, it's 4 years for most GTP females to start breeding. So that is so far down the line that it's just not been a focus for us right now. It might happen at some point, but it's definitely not anywhere in the near future. Answer your question?
Yeah, I think that's a...
We also have our dart frogs, which we haven't mentioned either. I mean, we do have...
We have the supplies to cultivate their eggs. I mean, and they lay eggs. Unfortunately, they're not in they're in they're in a wet environment. I mean, they're dart frogs. They're a tropical environment. Daryl created that entire awesome vivarium. But they don't have like a pond to lay eggs in. We could do that. They don't lay
eggs in the pond. But anyway, they don't have the right environment for it.
Whatever. I thought they'd do for the tadpoles to come down to.
No, they put their tadpoles on their back. Have you never watched? She doesn't know poison dart frogs.
I guess I don't know them as far as like those details. I mean, obviously I know how to care for them.
They lay their little eggs, and then they carry their tadpoles on their back, and they'll bring them up and put them in like a bromeliad.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not set up for them to breed.
And then they fall down into the water. Right? Don't they when they're born?
She knows nothing about breeding.
I remember watching this documentary.
Yeah. Anyway, the vivarium is not set up.
We're not amphibian people right now.
It's not set up for them to self-breed inside of it. Let's put it that way. I don't even know if you can set up a vivarium. I'm going to totally be honest. I have no idea if you can set up a vivarium for poison dart frogs to breed themselves. All I've ever seen people who breed poison dart frogs do is they pull the eggs to breed them themselves, and they use them with the little deli cups, and they set the deli cups sideways so the frogs can climb out. I have never done it. I've watched videos on it, and that's the extent of my experience, which is limited to say the least.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I've seen them lay eggs in this vivarium. That's why I thought.
They do lay eggs. We've definitely gotten eggs.
Oh, yeah, we've gotten tons of eggs. You can see the clusters throughout the thing. So we know we have one of them is a female. They might all be. I don't know. But regardless.
We've debated trying, but we haven't yet. So that is an option.
Well, clearly I need to learn more before I help you.
We both need to learn more. To take no information about breeding dart frogs from us, because neither of us have any experience with it or have looked into it enough to give really good. I was going to say, the moment you see
that video, it's because Daryl has done the research.
Yeah. So don't just take everything you just heard and
just pretend the last 3 minutes didn't happen.
Yeah. At least we're honest that we don't know about it, right? Like some people would be like, "Oh yeah, you just do this and it'll be fine."
Well, I feel like right now we're just chit chatting and we're not really trying to give information. So
I know nothing. Zero, but I won't say zero, but it's close to zero about breeding poison dart frogs. It's the knowledge level is very low. Holly's knowledge level is even lower than that.
That is true.
So
that's true.
Just keep that as a grain of salt in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, and the very last one is, what do we feed our geckos? That is the number one question we get when people talk to us about geckos. And interestingly, we made a video on that.
Yeah, so if I think about it, which, well, hopefully I will, I'll put the little video thing up top here with the little link that you can look at. But real quick, because the video has way more information, the answer is we feed powder every other day, basically. Mm-hmm. Pangea and Rapashi, and the video talks about which ones. And then we feed crickets once a week, dusted in calcium powder.
That's about it?
That's the short answer.
Yeah, that's the short answer.
Anything else to add?
No.
Nothing? All right. Do you want to tell more people how to breed poison dart frogs?
I mean, I'd probably sooner be able to tell them how to breed lions. I don't know.
I would hope that they could breed on their own. They're lions.
Yeah, but frogs can obviously breed on their own in the right environment. But a lion can't necessarily breed.
I feel like a lion's environment to be able to breed on their own is much simpler than amphibians.
I mean, clearly they're a mammal.
You'll have some space and room and
breed and then give live birth. Yeah, that's very basic.
I
mean, clearly I'm not downplaying pregnancy. I'm just saying that for a mammal.
Can we breed lions?
I mean, probably illegally, but I mean.
Maybe that's our next breeding project. Lions. Exquisite Exotics Lion Division.
I mean, you thought exotics just meant exotic pets. We're talking literally exotic animals.
Well, I mean, it could be an exotic pet. Some people would want a lion as a pet. Not many. I don't think the market's very big for it. I think it's a small.
But I think if you sell at least one, you've made a good profit.
It's a niche breeding segment. So next video will be our lion breeding project.
No.
All right.
But if we could have baby lions with us.
They are adorable, I will say. They become like full-size lions, and that's the problem.
Well.
If we disappear one day, it's our lions ate us. Are we good?
I've been good.
Okay.
I've been good.
We've given you tons of bad information about breeding poison dart frogs and breeding lions. So, that's I think that makes it for the end of the video. All right. That's it for this week, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.